All right, we are live. Hi, this is Nancy with On Point TV and Quilting with Nancy. And today I want to do a YouTube live comparing some of the fabric cutting machines that are out there, why you might want one, why you might want another. I want to preference this that I know these machines cost a lot of money, so you're probably only going to be able to get one. I am very fortunate that I work for a company where I'm able to get these machines at cost. So for me, yeah, I've got a lot of machines and I do use them all, but I know that you really can't all do that. So I want you to hold on through the entire video. This could be a long video, so if you don't or aren't able to sit and watch it all now, maybe come back later to the YouTube channel and watch it then, because I'm going to compare the Brother ScanNCut, the Sizzix Big Shot, and the Gemini machine. Three really good fabric cutting machines that you can use for so many different things, but honestly, there's like three, there's different reasons to have different ones. I'm going to start with the Brother ScanNCut because I haven't done a full video on those. Previously, I've done a full video on the Sizzix Big Shot and a full video on the Gemini. I'm going to give you a little demo of each of those at the end to tell you what my favorite things are about them. But just know, if you need a full video on one of those, there's actually some other ones on our channel. Okay, so I'm going to start with the Brother ScanNCut. Now this is the new Brother ScanNCut. Up here it says the ScanNCut DX. So that is brand new for the ScanNCut, and it is worth every ounce of upgrade that they did. I have had my other ScanNCut for quite a long time. Absolutely loved it, use it all the time, and then they came out with the ScanNCut DX, and I'm like, yeah, what do I need that one for? Oh my goodness, it is amazing what they've done to upgrade this. So start with the DX. Is it has this really cool tray that comes down. The old one didn't have that, and in the tray are these little things that you can carry. So I'm going to try and grab these two. It comes with a little pen, a pen holder, the needle or the blade holder, and then another guy in here. And that's some things that I cut out earlier. There, okay. So if you are a paper crafter, because that is honestly one of the big places where I guess the big crafters that ScanNCut actually sells to. All three of these machines really started in the kind of paper crafting world and have come into the fabric and crafting and quilting world, okay? So this, I think, is the coolest feature about the ScanNCut. If you are a paper crafter, the hot trend in paper crafting is stamps and dies that go together. People buy the stamp, they buy the die that are the exact fit so that they can cut out that stamp. So the ScanNCut makes it so all you need is a stamp. So here I have stamped some images. These are a couple of Laurel Birch images, and this is just an image that I just think is fabulous. I just stuck those down on a regular piece of paper. You could do it on cardstock, but this is, I think, an artist drawing paper. I'm going to take this mat and I'm going to line it up and load it in. All right. I stamped those just with a simple ink on it. Now I'm going to tell the ScanNCut to scan this. I'm going to tell it to direct cut. Later on, we're going to use some other feature, but I'm going to tell it direct cut and start. It's asking me a couple of things, and while this is scanning, I'm going to tell you that there are some phenomenal videos on Brother's website. Julie Belzar, and I don't positive if I'm saying her last name right, she is phenomenal. She does the best demos of anybody I've ever met. Plus, she's a phenomenal artist. But she does some really great, very in-depth videos on the ScanNCut. So I have scanned in those stamps. See that? Can you see that? Okay, now I'm going to tell it okay, and I'm going to look at each of the images. And I can edit those images. If there were some maybe marks I didn't want. Ooh, see that one little dot up there? I don't really want that. I'm going to delete it. Okay, that little dot, I'm going to delete it. All right, but I want that flower, that leaf, that flower, that flower, that flower, that flower, that flower, and that funny little girl. Okay. All right, so now I'm going to be able to start to cut it. But back up a second, Bill, I want to tell you something. The one outrageous upgrade that they made from the original ScanNCut, I think I had the CM350 to the DX, is the blade. With the old machines, you needed to now at this point go, all right, I'm gonna be cutting paper, so I'm gonna take my blade out of here, and you would adjust the blade to the depth that you wanted it. You never have to do that again. Now it is going to know how thick the material is. So I'm going to tell it to start. Oops, I got to select an operation. I could draw, I could emboss, I could use foiling, which is a couple of other things that this machine can do, but I'm going to do some cutting. It's going to process. Now I'm going to start. Now Bill can back up here a little bit, and you can watch this. Now watch the blade come across. The blade is going, how thick is that material? Oh, it's only paper. The blade knows how deep to go. What makes that super cool is now you are going to be saving on mats. I have cut through the mat so many times, and with this new feature, you're never going to do that again. I have gone with this blade, which I've done all my demoing with this blade so far. I have cut leather, I've cut foam, I've cut cork, I've cut canvas, I've cut fabric, which I'm going to show you in a little bit. Absolutely anything, and I've never had to adjust the blade. This blade also is going to cut through everything I'm going to ask it to cut through right now today, and I have not changed the blade. I know the question will come up, how long would the blade last? I don't know. It will last as long as it doesn't last. There just really is no, it's going to last for 30 hours or 10 hours. I really truly don't know. It'll depend on what you're cutting. So it has done all the cutting. I'm going to take the mat out, use my little spatula, and bada boom, bada bing. I have cut out all of those. Oops, I almost cut that little girl's leg off. Look at the detail on her hair. All of that beautifully cut out. So imagine if you are a paper crafter and a quilter or whatever other crafts that you do, the things that you can cut out. All of the stamps that you have can now be cut out using the ScanNCut. Keeping in mind, the ScanNCut is made by Brother. Brother is very well known for making the highest quality. I was going to say the most bestest, but that probably isn't the right English. The very best in office and scanning and copiers and stuff, and printers too. This is going to be right up the alley. So I want to show you something else. Okay, let's put it right here. Okay. The other thing I love about the ScanNCut, and the single most important thing for me with the ScanNCut, is that I can create my own designs and cut them out. They are my designs. Now, can I go to, I'll show you, like here. This is a really, really good book. It's got some really fabulous applique designs in it. And when you get into the book, those are the applique designs. I can take those designs, scan them into the ScanNCut, and cut them out. So here is some of the ones I've done from that book. So if you are into fusible applique, that's the thing that I think the ScanNCut is best for us quilters. Here is, if you happen to be a Nancy Helverson, she does the coolest, cutest books. And all of them have all of this applique. Well, this book, I thought she maybe went a little bit overboard with these words. The peace, on earth, peace, goodwill toward men. In script writing. How not fun would that be to cut out? Okay, check this out. Those are a few that I've cut in the past. With the ScanNCut, you can take those words, scan them in, weld them together, and cut them out. It just doesn't get any better than that. If you are a Nancy Halverson aficionado, a big fan, I think the ScanNCut is for you because it can cut out all of those pieces. This one here is another one that I did. I just took some simple designs that I had for applique. And what is so cool about this is with the ScanNCut, and I don't have time to demo it, but you can put the pink fabric, the purple fabric, the green fabric, the orange fabric all down on one mat and then tell it to cut the pink flowers, the green leaves, the purple flowers, and the orange dots if you want. So you can do that with the ScanNCut. No wasting fabric. So let's go back to this. So yes, you can use pre-made designs, and there's so many fabulous designers out there. I highly recommend it. But what about if you want your own design? This is something you want. You want it to be completely all yours. You can make your own design. So I took a piece of paper and I drew 3 designs on it. And then I'm going to lift this up here. This is the scan mat. So I'm going to lay that back down. Now I'm going to take these designs and scan them in. Now, as I'm scanning, well, before I scan them in maybe, I want to show you what actually comes with the machine. Keeping in mind, you can purchase designs. So let's go home. I'm going to delete that. Look at all these patterns. So here you have all the shapes, right? Here you have a lot of different things. So here is the flowers, and so I could have used their flowers and their leaves if I wanted to. This one's cute. I really love this one because this one has not only the pair of scissors, which I think is awesome, and pass the bike, but I love these music ones. So I could do, if you were doing a music quilt, you could do those. And what's fun is this one right now is 3-ish inches by almost 4 inches. I could make that up to 12 inches big if I wanted to. So that's what it would look like, okay? So it comes with a ton of designs in itself, but you're not limited to the designs. Oh, they also have some words, really good words, and the alphabet so that you could write whatever you wanted, okay? But it also comes with your own. You have the ability to make your own. So I am going to scan it. The image is scanned to the USB. Uh-oh, I don't know if I have my USB. Scan to cut data. There, this is the one we're going to do. Create or draw data from images. Nope, that's not the one I want to do either. That's the one that we kind of just did. Nope, I have to stop. I don't know why. I'm going to say start. Put the material to scan. Okay, we're going to do that. Oops, it went out. Let's load it back in. There. All right. So it should start scanning my designs. Not totally sure why. Oh, because it wants a USB. I know that it can scan to... I know that it can scan direct to the machine.
Arrow over one more.
One more I did, but that one's going, because there is a Canvas workshop, which is kind of up in the clouds. So, very quickly, Bill, show them something pretty. I wish the cats were here to entertain us. I know that in this bag I have a USB. There it is. Okay, that didn't take me too long. And to think I just cleaned my studio. Okay, I'm going to put my USB in here, which is just, for those of you that don't know, it's just a little thumb drive, right? So nothing fancy. This also has a whole bunch of things that I've actually already done. Start. Okay, so now it is going to scan those super simple designs that I made. Sorry for the little bit of running around there. Now I want you to imagine what you could design. You could just fill this with flowers and leaves and swirls and just anything at all that you thought that you wanted to cut out for applique. You don't have to be fancy. If you happen to be a teacher, it's really fun to ask the quietest person in the room to draw a flower, because then you can scan their flower. I did consider asking Bill to draw a flower, but he's shaking his head like this going, yep, it's a good thing you figured out to do that yourself. All right, so it's scanned in the design. Now it's saving it to the USB. And wait a minute. Okay, so now I'm going to go home. All right, I think I'm going to go home. No, I'm not going to go home. I'm sorry. ScanNCut data. Create and draw data from image, the material, scan the mat to set it in the machine. Oh my goodness. You guys, I swear I know how to do this, but this was one thing that I assumed I knew how to do, so I really did not practice it. And this is because it's the newer machine. So okay, excuse me, we need to practice a little bit more on the machine. If you watch this later, you can fast forward just about 5 minutes through here as I'm figuring out how to make this happen. All right, so now let's see what it did. I think I need to go home is what I think I need to do. All right, there's my objects right there. Okay, and I'm going to tell it just that it'll just have the objects. All right, there's the 3 objects. I could adjust this if there were objects on there I didn't want, but there isn't anything there. So preview, okay. And I'm going to save it. See, I knew I could save it to one or the other. I can save it to my machine. I can save it to my USB. Or and this does have free wireless connected right in it. You don't need to purchase a card, which was another upgrade from the old machine. I'm just going to save it to the machine, keeping in mind the machine has lots of storage. I just don't know how much storage. So you do want to have a USB handy, just in case. All right. So now those are in there. I'm going to go home, and it's going to ask me, home, do I want to delete the patterns? No, I didn't save them yet. Yes, I did save them. We're going to go to our machine. There, it's saving it, see? So now I know that I can go home. Okay, it's number 12 in the memory. Now I'm going to go home. It's going to say, can delete the patterns? Yes, it can, because I saw it get saved. Now I can go to the patterns. Nope, let's go back. Oh, retrieve data. Retrieve data. Remember, I saved it into the machine. I could have done it from my USB. These are, you'd swear I'd never done this before, right? These are other images that I already had saved in here, and I did save that one twice. So now I get to go to the flower, the heart, and the swirl that I made. All right, so what's so cool about having it be your own design? Because now I can take that design, I can duplicate it. So now I have 3 swirls. I can change the size of it. So let's make this one a little bit bigger. And I'll show you a quilt that I did quite a bit of this on. I can do the same thing with the flower. I can move it around. I can put it wherever I want it to be. Now I can cut out those designs. So I'm going to say, okay. Now I'm going to have Bill back up a little bit, because I'm going to take the mat that has the design that I scanned. I'm going to move that to the side. And I'm going to show you some that I'm going to cut out. So this is one of the designs, a few of the designs that are in the machine. You can see here, I had a small one, I had a big one of the gears. I had some different gears. Here is a really cool border that I cut out. Love this bike. I think the bike is super cool. All right. So I'm going to cut those designs out on the fabric. Now on the fabric, I have already put some adhesive. So this is a new adhesive in Quilting World. It's from Hot Fix Adhesives. This stuff is the bomb. It is absolutely, positively fabulous, and it's a very good price. So, you know, I should have mentioned this earlier. All of the products I'm going to talk about are available on quilting-warehouse.com. My best friend Gina owns Quilting Warehouse, so I'm happy to push some business her way. So anything you happen to see, up to and including this does not need to be just used in a ScanNCut. This can be used like any fusible adhesive. It is the bomb. So I put that on the back of the fabric, and I'm just going to smooth the fabric out. I usually will use my little spatula dude. Okay, This is on the standard tack mat. There are high tack mats, there's low tack mats for paper. There is, yep, I'm gonna scan that in. There's the scanning mat. This is the 12 by 12. There's also a 12 by 12 and a 12 by 24 available. All right, so now I'm gonna select. Oops, before I select, you know what I wanna do? Nope, okay, sorry, going backwards again. All right, let's go back home. Yeah, I can delete those. Remember, I already told us we can do that. Okay, it's right here. Gonna go back and get it. There. All right. This is the one I'm gonna do. But what I really, really, really love about the ScanNCut, watch this. I've got my design in, I can make some more, but now I'm going to literally scan the fabric. So this is a full color scanner, which you can also use for scanning papers and documents, things like that, for scanning photographs. So if you have old photographs that you want to get scanned to be electronic, you can scan them and put them on your USB. Then you can put them on Facebook and share with the world all your really old pictures. Now look at that. That is the exact fabric that I have. I'm going to take that heart, I'm going to move it over here. I'm going to take that flower. I want it to be a purple flower. I want it to be an ombre. So right there, so the two colors. Here's the swirl. And remember, I can also duplicate and resize. So I'm going to make a couple of swirls. I don't want to do too many because we don't want to be here all day. I'm going to make that one swirl a little bit bigger. Okay, now I'm going to move my swirls. Now I could really cram them really close together, but I don't know what's going to happen. So we're going to do there. That's where they are. Now I'm going to select to cut. Cut. And here it goes. Remember, I just went from cutting paper. Now I'm going to cut fabric with an adhesive on the back. And the blade knows. It knows what size, how deep to cut. I don't have to guess. Now I always do kind of watch it real careful, and I keep my finger on the pause just in case something happens. So it's cutting out my flower now. So these are all your own designs. It could be somebody's designs, or it could be your very own. So if you're an art quilter out there, just think for a second what kinds of things you could cut out using the ScanNCut. It can cut paper, it can cut leather, it can cut cork, it can cut felt, it can cut foam. Trying to think what other stuff I've ever cut. It can emboss on metal. It now has a feature where it can do foiling, so if you're into foiling. So think of all the really cool things it can do. All right, let's take it out. It did not cut all the way through on my flower. It missed it just this little corner here. Okay, it doesn't normally miss, but it missed a little bit on the flower. Actually, you hit the flower, it missed the inside of the flower. I guess maybe my blade might be getting old after all the things that I've cut. So there I have it. These are all the things. Wait a minute, I had something else, didn't I? I had where's my heart? There it is, it's way up here. I think my blade is getting old. It did cut through all the fabric. It just didn't get there. It did cut through the adhesive. It just didn't get to the backing. It's fully got the adhesive on it. So that's the kinds of things that you can do with the ScanNCut. So if you ask me, the coolest thing about the ScanNCut, why I would think that if you could only have one cutting machine, it would be the ScanNCut. It is the ability to precisely cut out from any different fabric the designs you want. You can actually do fabric without fusible. I almost always do it with fusible, but that's just me. So you can design your own, you can cut all of these different shapes and sizes from pre-done patterns or your own pattern. Plus, the ScanNCut has the ability to scan, so it is a regular color scanner and stuff like that too. So now I'm going to turn this machine off, and I'm going to very quickly go through just a little bit of a review on the other two machines. So Bill's going to not show me as I'm bending down here. Okay. We're going to jump to the Gemini. All right. Like I said, there is a full video out there on the Gemini and what the Gemini can do. I want to show you what my favorite thing about the Gemini is. It's these. These are the Build-A-Block series from Gemini. So look for that. And this Build-A-Block is triangles, half square triangles, and squares. I'm going to set that down. Then there is this new one. With the new one, you get the rectangle triangles. What do they call them? The rectangle triangles. Okay, I did that right. This is the one. It's an isosceles. Isosceles. Thank you, Bill. Those extra big ones. And
got a comment that the ScanNCut's not on the website.
the ScanNCut's not on the website. Then do me a huge favor. Please write me at quiltingwithnancy@gmail.com, and I will let Gina know, and we will be able to get you one of them, okay? So this one has the rectangles also. So here is, oh, I skipped this. This is the one I told you about the gears. So this is the rail fence that we had done a while back. I had cut out all those gears. These gears didn't come in the machine. It was with my old machine. I had to draw those gears, but then I was able to get all the different sizes. So this was done with the ScanNCut. Okay.
To repeat the full names of the products.
So, Brother ScanNCut so far. Now Gemini. The Gemini comes from a company in England. It's called Crafter's Companion. Gemini really and Crafter's Companion has almost always been paper crafting, kind of party supplies too. Sarah Davies, I think, is the name of the creator. She's fabulous, and she started quilting a little while ago, and I was like, woohoo, finally, she's come to the dark side with me. And so that's why these all got created. So here's some
One
of
more
the
question.
things. Yeah.
Do you apply the backing before you cut the fabric?
Yes, you apply the backing and you keep the paper on the backing. So you keep that paper on it, you cut it out, and then you peel off the paper. Sometimes I accidentally forget and I take the paper off and then it gets all sticky. What a mess. Okay. We're on to the Gemini, unless there's any other questions on the ScanNCut. All right, if there is, you can still come. So this is with the Gemini. This is the thing I love about the Gemini. Keep in mind, all of these fabrics I've been using are fabrics I painted myself with the mono printing and the gel press. I'm going to show you how to do that next week. So this is a quilt I'm working on. Okay, all of these have been cut out with the Gemini machine. And all of these were cut with the first Build-A-Block, the one with the triangles, the squares, and the half square triangles, okay? Now they have come out with the Build-A-Block Plus, and this has additional shapes. So this is a quilt that I've made with the additional shapes. Just going to show you a little bit of it. And the additional shapes are the isosceles triangles and the rectangles, okay? So a lot of different things going on here. What I want to quickly show you again is how to use the Gemini and why I love, the thing that I love best about it. Here's the beat up old plates. They get that way, it's okay. You know, I wanted to show you the new plates, but I thought that's not fun. Then you won't think, you know, you'll think I'm kind of cheating you on the techniques. These are 2 metal plates. This is a newer one. They get beat up after a while. I kind of love my old one. The old one cuts really nice. So we're going to use the old one. These metal plates actually last a very, very long time. I've got some fabrics here. I've got 4 different fabrics. I have layered them right sides together. These are just painted fabrics. And this is what I love about the Gemini, is how many you can put on one pass and you don't waste fabric. So these are the quarter square triangles. Okay, a couple of those in there. Then I'll go to the half square triangles, and I'm going to do big pieces just so that we're getting through this a little bit faster. Here. So do you see how I get to position exactly where I want my dies to be? And that's going to make a little bit more sense when we get to the last die cutting machine. I could even do some squares, maybe a smaller square. There, I could do a bigger one, but that's just what we're going to do, okay? I'm going to set these to the side. This is the thing I love best about the Gemini, is that when you're placing your dies, you're not just stuck with one die and everything's already placed for you, and I'll get to those, what those are and why I like that machine. But with the Gemini, I can put them all on one plate, smush it together, and I think you're thinking, there is no way that pile of mess is ever going through that Gemini machine. Yes, it is. This machine is so strong. When these go through, all right, I've got a little bit extra fabric on the side. I don't think it's going to care. All right, listen to it. It's almost like it's complaining, but it's not. I have cut so much with this machine, and it just goes through every time. I don't know who Crafter's Companion knew to get such a powerful machine in their cutter, but look at this. Cut through that. Now these are half square triangles. I put them right sides together. I could go and sew from that notch to that notch, and then I would have my half square triangle. There are 4 layers, and so this will continue that quilt. And that quilt, I'm just using lots of different triangles and squares and all of my painted fabrics. So I'm going to get these all off here. Can you see how much fabric we did not waste? I could still use these little bits down here. It can cut 8 layers of fabric. So for the Gemini machine, the thing I like best about it, it can do dies for applique, it can do dies, it can do embossing if you are a paper crafter, but for me, for a quilter, what I love best about the Gemini is I can cut out all of these shapes, I can squish them all together on the mat. The die is placed where I want it to be placed, okay? So now we're going to set that one to the side. All right, one more machine I want to show you. Oh, and then I just found something else. Can I go back to the ScanNCut a second? The other thing the ScanNCut can do that these machines cannot do is kiss cut vinyl. I don't have time to demo it for you, but this is a piece of vinyl. To kiss cut vinyl. So all of those real cool wall decors and different things that you can use your vinyl for, iron-on vinyl, adhesive vinyl, outdoor vinyl, on car vinyl is done with a machine like the ScanNCut. So you can cut this out, and kiss cut means it only cuts through the one layer of the vinyl. It does not cut through the paper back. Okay, it's not going to work for me right now, but just know that it can also do vinyl designs. I didn't have time to show you that. Okay. So now to the last and final machine. This is the Sizzix Big Shot Plus. So the Big Shot is 6 inches wide. So Bill, can you show? So the Big Shot itself is only about 6 inches wide. Of the 3 machines that I've talked about, the Big Shot, not the Big Shot Plus, but the Big Shot is the least expensive. All right, so it's maybe 120 bucks, something like that, retail. The other machines are more expensive than that. The Big Shot Plus, I think, is maybe 200. I'm not really sure on the retails. Please don't keep me to those things. So with the Big Shot, this is the kinds of things you get. Here is one of the dies. I did do a video, when I did the video on the Big Shot, this is the one that I did. And look at all these fun designs. You get these diamonds, then from the diamonds you have those little side pieces. So this was really fun to make. Here's another one that I did with the Big Shot. All right, so the Big Shot does have a lot of quilting dies specifically made for quilters. So here's a couple of other ones. I even did a double wedding ring. You might remember that. I love this kind of swirly one. So I love the Big Shot for some of these designs, but I gotta tell ya, for cutting out these shapes, it's good if this is the shape that you really, really want, but it's kind of hard to get your fabric exactly where you want it. So if you look at this one, here is this long piece here, and these ones, they just happen to be 2.5 inches wide. So I did use a jelly roll when I made the quilt out of that. But the other one, and I have quite a few of these, I do use them. They're just not my favorite thing about it. So when I was cutting out these diamonds, it's like to get that big diamond, I almost had to cut out the diamond completely ahead of time. And if you put the whole piece of fabric on, then you really have to be using a large variety of fabrics. So that's what I mean by what I like about the Gemini is I can place the pieces where I want them. Whereas with the Sizzix ones and the AccuQuilt ones, which is another company that I don't own one, so I'm not doing a review on that, but that's what theirs do, okay? What I do love the Sizzix for is cutting out pre-done dies. So this is one of the newer ones that I just got recently. Haven't even opened it. I've already taken, okay, I had a piece of fabric here. Oh my gosh. I had a piece of fabric with a piece of fusible on it, but we're going to pretend that I was planning to cut this fabric here. Okay, this fabric right here, okay? So this is what I love the ScanNCut for. I love to be able to put fusible fabric on the back, layer them up using the cutting plates. I'm going to talk about this extra cutting plate in a second. You put one on the top, one on the bottom, and you roly-poly it through. And it can cut easily 4 layers of fabric, very often 6 layers of fabric. I don't normally do 8, but I think it probably could. And look at all those little swirls that it just cut. Let me get these little guys under here. All right. Now, if these had the fusible on the back, that would be so cool. They're kind of tangled right now, so please excuse me. Okay. So you can cut things out like that. Here's something else you can cut out. Okay, this is really fun. A little while ago, I think the last YouTube live we did, Athena and I showed you paint pouring. We poured acrylic paint onto the canvas and we poured it, and if you want to go back in time, you can see that. I'm not sure if the ScanNCut could cut this. This is acrylic paint. It's really quite thick. I think the Gemini probably could, but I know the Sizzix Big Shot could. Those dies are steel ruled dies. They are very, very strong. And look at this. So do I know what I'm going to do with that? No, but after I did that paint pouring video, somebody mentioned that she was going to take the paint off, the canvas off, and make a bag with it. And I was like, that is the coolest idea ever. So I even cut out some hearts. So here is one more thing that the Sizzix Big Shot can do. The Sizzix Big Shot can cut dies from AccuQuilt. Any of the dies that you see for AccuQuilt. Now, without a doubt, AccuQuilt has more quilting dies than any of the other companies. Without a doubt, because that's what they do. AccuQuilt, right? If you happen to have Big Shot dies, you cannot use Big Shot Sizzix dies in your AccuQuilt machine. Your AccuQuilt machine cannot use the wafer thin dies like the one for the Gemini. I could use the Gemini dies in my Big Shot. The AccuQuilt can't do that. But the AccuQuilt dies, because they have so many, can go in the Big Shot using their adapter plate G. This is for the adapter plate G. This is so that you can use AccuQuilt dies. So if you have any of those around the Sizzix Big Shot, can cut those too. I'm not dissing on the AccuQuilt machine. The AccuQuilt machine can cut all of their dies, but they can't cut anybody else's. Whereas the Big Shot, you can cut AccuQuilt dies, you can cut Sizzix dies, you can cut wafer thin dies, a lot of different things you can do with it. So, gonna run through the machines one more time. ScanNCut DX is the brand new version of the ScanNCut. That's electronic, it's wireless, you can do designing on it. So there's a canvas where you can literally be drawing and stuff with it. A lot of things that I don't even do. I just do the things that I do with it, and I love it. Then there is the Gemini from Crafter's Companion. Again, started as a paper crafting company, but Sarah wants to quilt. So now they're making these really cool quilting designs, which I think is awesome. What I love about that is the ability to take those dies and line them all up so perfectly as it cuts through. Plus, it is a really strong machine. If you have strength issues, if cranking, because these dies could be used in the Sizzix, but you could have to be pretty strong. There is pressure. It takes a little bit more muscle. So if muscle is not your thing, think about the Gemini or the Sizzix Big Shot. Remember, this is the Big Shot Plus. The Big Shot is only about 6 inches wide, which means I could do this die, but I could not do the other bigger dies that I showed you. And there is a Big Shot Pro that's ginormous. I really think it's too big. So there you have it. All of these should be, and if they're not now, they will be available on the Quilting-Warehouse website. If they're not there, email her. There is a contact right there on the Quilting Warehouse. Or you could email me at quiltingwithnancy@gmail.com. I hope you liked my little review of some of the fabric cutting tools. This is going to take me a long time to get cleaned up, so I hope it was worth the effort. You can find all of my videos, starting with my Learning to Quilt series that goes all the way through the process of quilting on the OnPoint-TV website and YouTube channel. I think this literally, and you know what, I probably should have mentioned it before, I think this is our 200th video on our channel. I would really appreciate it if you would share the videos with your friends. Subscribe to the channel. There's a subscribe button, I think, down here on the right-hand side. And don't forget to hit the little bell because that's the notification. So then you would know whether or not I was doing a new video, maybe a live one, or if we uploaded a new video. So thank you very much for watching and have a wonderful rest of your Sunday afternoon. Stopping.